What's up, Spartan Nation? It's Jacob Katsuniki here, back for another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. Again, getting nearer and nearer to game day between Michigan State and USC. Big Ten opener. It's going to be a big one for the Spartans, for the Trojans. USC ranked number 25 in the latest AP poll. Again, it's going to be a big time challenge. Spartans definitely the underdogs coming into this one. USC, again, they're ranked 25th, but everything you kind of seem to hear about them kind of seems to suggest that they should probably in the mid-teens into the near the 10 mark or so. Well, the computers really seem to like them. I don't know if they're top 10 caliber yet. Given their schedule, we haven't really seen them play a truly great opponent. Michigan State might not be that first truly great opponent. They go play Illinois in a couple of weeks. That'll be an interesting game. But first, they still have to deal with MSU. For Michigan State, there are going to be things that they have to do in this game that if they want to come out with a win, if they want to pull off the upset, these are kind of the things they have to, and I mean have to do. If they don't do these things, this thing it might be over in a hurry, or they're just not going to win. So that's what we're going to talk about is what is the non-negotiables for Michigan State in the anatomy of an upset. So first things first, they can't turn the ball over. Simple as that. They haven't gone an entire game without a turnover yet, and that includes just generally with the starters in against Western Michigan. Aiden Childs fumbled the ball once. There was a pick six with Alessio Milivojevic in, but it doesn't really have an impact on the game. But Childs had a fumble in week 1 against Western Michigan. Week 2, Boston College, Amari Kelly fumbled a punt return. That was very early on in the game. And then week 3, Childs had that kind of awkward interception, not really entirely his fault, but still a turnover nonetheless. For Michigan State, they can't do it. They need to find a way to either completely or they need to find a way to try and get out of this game probably with a clean sheet on the turnover statistic. Or at the very least, you want 1. You can't, if they have 2, it's not happening. Turnover margin, yeah, you definitely would also like to see 1 or 2 turnovers forced by the defense. That's going to be a big key in this game. Childs, again, has made good decisions with the football through 3 games. You haven't seen him throw it into double coverage. You haven't seen him throw it into triple coverage. You've seen him more apt to throw it away when there's nothing there, or just find the check down, find safer options. So that's something that I think is very, very achievable here. Just protect the ball, hold on to it, though. One of the keys, though, again, the fumble against Western Michigan, and part of the reason that happened was Brandon Tollis just didn't seem to have the communication down. They just kind of didn't see a blitzer coming, free rusher, and that's why Childs fumbled that ball. Mekhi Frazier is dealing with an injury right now. Michigan State's top running back through 3 games. We don't know yet if he'll play in the game. So if Tollis is a guy who's probably going to see more snaps, even if Frazier is there, he's probably not 100%. So Tollis is probably going to be in there a fair bit, and when he's going to be asked to pass protect, he's going to have to be better. For one, just so Childs has time in the pocket, and 2, to lessen that chance of a turnover. Second thing for them is a red zone defense. That's going to be a big one. USC's offense is too good to it has to be kind of a bend don't break attitude for Michigan State's defense here in this one. USC's offense is too good to think you're going to get a 3 and out very often. You're not going to see them you're just not going to see it happen. They're first in the entire country in offense right now. Again, very limited sample sizes. 2 of these games are against Missouri State and Georgia Southern. 1 game against Purdue, who was the worst team in the Big Ten last year, but does look a bit better. But still, nonetheless, they're first in the entire FBS in total yardage, and they're averaging 55 points a game, which is second in the entire FBS. Jaden Mayava is averaging about 14 yards an attempt through 3 games. So, that's pretty good. They got weapons up the wazoo. Makai Lemon and a couple good tailbacks that, if you aren't careful, they can bust out some big plays. We'll talk about that later a little bit too, the big plays. But Michigan State, when they get into the red zone, they really need to hunker down and try to keep USC to 3. Just keep them to a field goal. If you're able to keep them at 3, if you're able to keep them on fringe field goal range, or maybe their kicker could miss one, that could put Michigan State in a position to go win this game. But through 3 games, there's been 13 red zone opportunities for this defense, and the opponent has scored 8 times. 61%, it's not great, it's not terrible, but for a game like this, you probably want to be in that range of 50% or lower. If they're way low, if we're talking 2 for 5, 1 for 5, Michigan State could very well win. But again, if USC is just marching into the red zone, it doesn't even look like they're dealing with the back end zone line. Because again, it's obviously easier to defend when you're in the red zone because there's just only so much space you can go. But if USC just kind of buzzes through in the red zone, that's a danger zone. That's a warning sign for Michigan State fans. If say it's early on in the game, USC opening possession, they get in the red zone, they score in 2 plays after they've crossed the 20. Might be a sign that you might be able to go to bed. It's one of those types of things. Again, as far as the defense as well, I think the 2 big things that they need to do is they need to play better man coverage and they need to have a better pass rush. It's kind of a mix between those 2 things. Defense talk today. This is being filmed on Wednesday. It's going to come out Thursday. One of the things the defenses seem to talk about was that the quarterbacks are getting the ball out very, very quick against them, which is obviously that makes it a lot more difficult for the pass rush to get home. So, you kind of take a step back. Why are the quarterbacks getting the ball out so quick? And it's usually just because the first read is there. The first read's open. So that's going to require MSU to, Josh Eaton, Malcolm Bell to probably play some better man coverage, play tighter, be sticky on the receivers, and try to make quarterbacks go to that second and third read that makes them hold on to the ball a bit longer, gives the defensive line more time to get to the quarterback. And, once you get to the QB, sometimes you get a fumble, you get a sack. Again, that's another thing Michigan State needs to do. Just make the quarterback hold on to the ball a little bit longer in the pocket and try to give your defensive line some extra time to go get home. Now we're going to talk about big plays. That's kind of been an issue now. We saw a 66-yard run that may as well have been a touchdown against Youngstown State. Jonathan Smith said that was mostly a misalignment issue, although there was also like a missed tackle there, I believe. But again, that's a communication thing. They got to communicate better. There was another long play they allowed against Boston College, a 50-something yard pass given up. I will say should help that they're going to have Nakai Martinez full force, probably for the first time really this season. He made his debut against Youngstown State, but he was on a snap count, only played about half the snaps in that one. I'd imagine, though, again, you're getting into Big Ten play, you're probably going to see less rotating. In general, you're going to see Michigan State rely on their best horses to try to get them through this one, to try to give them the best chance to win. It's not Youngstown State where you can kind of hit cruise control and just kind of breeze to a 17-point win, which is what they did. Another thing is, again, third phase of the game, it's always easy to forget about special teams, but you need to find a way to steal something on special teams. You know what you're going to get with Ryan Eckley, best punter in America. You only saw him punt once, I believe, in Youngstown State, but Michigan State, they're probably going to have to punt the ball a few times today. And when Eckley, not today, on Saturday, really Sunday, but Eckley's going to have to come out there probably a couple of times, and when he does, you're going to want to see him probably try, if it's near midfield or so, you want to see him pin them deep. He's been amazing at it. You want to probably see them pinned inside the 3-yard line. That in a way that kind of neutralizes Mayava and their passing attack because they're kind of forced to run the ball a bit more. And it makes it obviously a lot easier on the defense when you feel pretty certain that they're going to run the ball. But again, on punt return, Amari Kelly had that big return, 83 yards, I believe it was, against Youngstown State, and you're going to probably want to see another big return, whether that be punting or on the kickoff team. There's a bit of changes there. Alante Brown going to be out for a while with an injury. You got Krishan McCray now back there probably filling in for him. Elijah Toliver has also been the second guy there as well. You'd like to see one of them probably bust out a big return, try to get Michigan State some prime field position, midfield or further. They just kind of need one of those big plays to get them momentum and to get them that additional field position to help out the offense. And the last thing, on the injury side, they're going to need someone kind of surprise people with a big game. Nick Marsh, Mekhi Frazier, both two guys who questionable, doubtful. We don't know if they're going to play. In the way that they were kind of talking about it, this is all pure speculation, but it just kind of seemed like the type of injuries where even if they do play, they're not completely healthy. They're not. No one's ever really 100%, but they're hampered. So you're going to need someone kind of surprising to step up. Running game, there's only two guys who it could really be. It's Brandon Tullis or Elijah Toliver. I'd imagine you'd probably see Toliver get the bulk of the carries. He has a bit more home run ability. He had that 20-something yard touchdown late against Youngstown State. Tullis is more the bruiser guy, third down guy, third and short. That's the guy they're going to go to. but Tal Tolliver would need to have a nice game in the run game, and the offensive line would have to help him out with that as well. Passing game, it's just really the receivers behind Nick Marsh. There's receivers here who are capable of having a big game. Omari Kelly is going to get his fair share of targets. Krishan McCray, he's had big games in his career against Kent State where he's the number one guy. If he's you're probably going to see him more in the slot still, but he's a guy where if Childs is looking for him, he's a guy who can get open and get the ball and make things happen. Probably in Marsh's spot, you're going to see a mix of snaps between Evan Boyd and Rodney Bullard. I don't think Boyd's gotten the ball yet this year, but again, he was Central Michigan's leading receiver through 8 games last year as a redshirt freshman. More of a long-term investment Michigan State got out of the portal, but this could be a game where he needs to make something happen, make a few plays, get a few catches, and try to help out the pass game. Bullard got the ball twice in the Youngstown State game, and they were both great touches. Got an end around that he got for his first career touchdown at Michigan State, and then he also had a really nice catch, I believe, on a third down conversion, was 20-something yards. So again, these are guys who, again, it's one of those strength in numbers things, but where you just hope someone of that group has a big day and can fill in for the big shoes that Nick Marsh might either leave behind or partially leave behind. So, again, leading up to the game, continue to keep checking in the Spartan Nation. Michigan State Spartans on SI. Continue to provide you a bunch of content there between now and Saturday and beyond throughout the Michigan State football season. So, again, I'm Jacob Katsanika, and thank you all for watching and or listening.